Many people aspire to be successful, but in reality, even after studying for about 30 years, working hard for another 30 years, when they are in their 60s, only 1% of them became successful, 4% live well financially, 15% of them have already passed away, and 10% of them live paycheck to paycheck. The remaining 70%, they live in poverty without any jobs. Many people study hard and live diligently despite their efforts and hard work. Why do most people experience failure? It was found that it was because of not knowing about the law of success. That's why Napoleon Hill determined to let people know about the law of success. So Napoleon Hill, who used to be a White House journalist, interviewed 500 successful individuals. And based on what the successful people said, he created a standard model, and he found something interesting. Being good at school wasn't one of their shared traits, nor were they born in a good family, not everyone not intelligent, not very healthy. However, one of their shared traits was that they envisioned their successful selves in their own mind. Ford imagined roads with a lot of cars running smoothly. As for Edison, he first visualized a light bulb that could illuminate the night. And all of those things became a reality. Let's say there's a two-story house right here. It's a 10-year-old house. 10 years ago, this house didn't exist. However, we need to understand that before this house, it was first created in the imagination of the builder. But the designer visualized it, whether it would be a two-story or five-story building. Various ideas came up to his mind, and then he would choose a two-story building, then start to design, and the construction workers built the house. And the house in the design became the reality. It only existed from those invisible minds. It is visible, but it came from invisible mind. So it's based on the same principle. Your successful self may not be visible for many people, but maybe after 2 years, 3 years, or 5 years later, your successful self can be seen by others in reality. But for that, you need to first create it within yourself. You have to vividly envision your future, successful future. So once your successful self is formed in your mind, it can happen maybe in 3 years or 5 years. Okay, this law of success is like the law of nature, and like there's a right direction, and it is a fixed concept. You have to follow the order to grow them well. And same for the successful life. Follow the law of success. Let's say you are going to grow growing something as a farmer, then you need to think about what to grow and how much to grow in your mind. So you need to decide, like I will grow 2 bags of rice, and you need to have this plan in your mind. And you would know how much seed is needed, how large the field should be. Everything would come to your mind. We call this method management by objectives, MBO. Stands for management by objectives. So, by objective, setting objectives is the first thing for you to do. Someone who has someone may be familiar with MBO, some people who are very familiar with MBO, especially those who used to work for a large company, because they have been given this kind of training, MBO-related training. So the MBO is fundamental principle for many people because they recognize the importance of setting objectives. However, MBO is not limited to companies. Government also applies MBO to their plans. They utilize this approach when setting the annual budget. The goal is to efficiently manage the country's operations. They lay out their plans in a document, undergo a thorough process, and once it's approved by the National Assembly, the budget can be put into action as intended. Just like companies and governments, individuals should also set goals first. However, we often neglect to apply MBO in our life even though we need the same principle. It's not about managing goals. It's about setting goals before managing. So it means managing. Your goals can be harvesting rice or growing peanuts. It can be anything, but the thing is, you choose your objective first. And based on the objective you chose, identify what you need to do. However, in life, people generally do not do this MBO. If you farm in a predetermined order, most of the time you will succeed, excluding cases of natural disasters. Out of 100 individuals, one might fail to harvest anything, and 3 to 4 may achieve minimal yields. However, the vast majority, around 90% to 95% of farmers, can achieve the desired level of harvest. Create a plan for your life like your harvest plan. By doing so, you will increase your possibility for a successful life. So, by principle, you should have about 90 to 95% of successful people, but in reality, we have only about 1% of people who become really successful. Why is it? So farmers, they follow the law of success and the law of nature, but in our daily life, people don't really follow this law. So you need to draw a picture for your successful future in your mind. You need to have a specific goal. You need to visualize yourself 3 years later, 5 years later. You need to have a very vivid picture for your future self. And without this vivid picture, you would have the same life 3 years later, 5 years later. In the past, success was attainable for those good students. And for those good students are not very successful later on. And one thing is very good news. Here's good news. Atomy. It doesn't really matter if you are a good student or a bad student, because I myself is not a good student. We among our leadership, we don't really have a lot of people who used to be a good student. I don't think so. At Atomy, if you have no money, you can do this Atomy business. Without any knowledge, you can do it because there are Atomy experts here, and it's great even if you can't meet them here, and because you can learn from the Atomy website. You have a lot of good lectures on our website. So if you have the determination to become successful, even without spatial ability, without career, without money, if you truly want it for the sake of your loved ones, you can make it. So far, you didn't have any method. You didn't know how. But now you know how. And if you are very passionate about supporting your family members, supporting your loved ones, if you are that passionate, if you have that passion, then you can become very successful. So you are given this opportunity, but some people just say that I would say it'll be good if I can get it for free. That if you have this thought, then you cannot become successful at Atomy. And if you have this kind of mindset, for example, I would go for this path. It doesn't really matter if the path is hard to go or not. I have this passion. I will definitely work hard and support my family. And if you don't really have any passion at Atomy, that means you don't really have any sense of love in your mind.
가족도 사랑하지 않고
You don't love your
자식도
family
사랑하지
members. You don't love
않고
your
남편, 아내도
children,
사랑하지 않고 부모도 사랑하지 않는 거예요.
your
정말 사랑하는 사람들이 있다고
partner.
하면 나는 정말 내 몸이 부서지더라도 나는 기필코
But
해내고야 말겠다는
you need to
그
think
각오가
that
필요해요.
I will do it
여러분 여기 계시는
for
여성분들
I will do it for
남편들에게
my family.
힘내세요. 그런 얘기 좀 하지 마세요.
Don't tell your husband keep going because he is
지쳐가지고
working very, very hard.
직전인데 거기 다
He's
대고
already keeping going. And if you say keep going,
우리가 있잖아요.
I am here and we are here, then your husband would feel very nervous and tired.
보고 아빠 보고 힘내라고 하지
Instead of saying
말고요.
keep going,
그냥
just tell them
주저앉아서 쉬세요.
no, stop and rest, take a rest. That's what you should say to your husband. Stop and take a rest. Tell him, honey, I discovered Atomy and realized how much you've sacrificed and worked hard 24/7 for our family. I truly appreciate all that you've done for us. You deserve some rest. That's what you should say. Now I will take care of everything because I have found Atomy. I know I can handle anything now.
남편 되시는 분들
I want to say something to those husbands. You should prioritize making your wife happy.
정말
Do not give her any reason to regret meeting you.
You see, many women wouldn't want to marry their husband again in their next life. However, when the same question is asked to husbands, many of them say yes, which their wives don't like. Let's talk about financial matters in your life. You should realize that work is not something you should do until we die. Instead, we should find a work to remove the need for constant work in our lives. You could strive to make a significant income or create a pipeline that generates money. Even when you are not actively working, you can make money. It should be achieved in 3 or 5 years. Just take a look at rich people. They often earn money for a specific period, not their entire lifetime, through work. Making money doesn't have to be excessively difficult. So what you need is the right mindset and a determination to achieve significant financial success within 5 years. Find something you want to do rather than just working. There are so many other things to do. Want to travel, right? If you want to volunteer and help others, go ahead. You could do that. If you want to learn something new, don't hesitate. You could do that too. We need to have a clear picture of how we will succeed. Envision yourself vividly. Some might find it too complicated to think about the kind of life they want to live, but it's normal for people. To have complex thoughts and considerations. 3 aspects make up a person's being. One of 3 aspects is the physical body. So the physical body represents the tangible and visible aspect of a person. And there is the mind. It encompasses soul. There are known to be different, but the mind encompasses them. And the last aspect is our surroundings. Our physical body desires something. It desires health, abundance, and longevity. It desires well-being. And then God created the physical body. He breathed his spirit,
육을 만들었어요. 육을. 흙으로 육을
soul,
만들고
into it,
거기에 하나님의
soul
영을
into
불어넣었어요.
a physical body. Then it became a living soul. That's how it became a living soul. So the spirit is given by God. God made us to feel conscious. It made us to know the concept of time. That's why we have a desire for eternity.
영원을 사모하는 마음을 주셨다 이렇게 돼 있어요.
We should understand that.
이 시간에 관한
And this concept of time is part of the spirit.
그런데 동물은
But animals don't have soul but have a certain kind of consciousness. They don't have conscious and don't know about the time concept.
자,
Imagine a scenario where a dog from the neighborhood bites a man's leg quite severely. Dogs, unlike humans, cannot feel remorse or say sorry because they lack of soul. They can't. Humans feel guilty no matter how unintelligent they might be. However, even if a dog is exceptionally smart, they don't experience guilt because they lack a soul. They also don't know about the concept of the time. Although they get old and face the end of life, they will not know anything. But human is different. We would think about life. What is life? Oh, my life is almost end. What have I done? What's the next life? How should I face my death? Does next life really exist? We would think a lot. Think about past, think about your future, because we know the concept of the time. It's related to having soul. God made us desire eternity, and eternity is the concept of time. Also, love and other things are part of it. The soul has intellectual desires. It has a desire to know about the unknown world. It includes emotions such as joys and sorrows. That's why we have emotions. And that's why we desire to learn something. We are social beings. We are surrounded by geographical and natural environment. We have a desire to make a positive impact and a longing to contribute to these environments. If we reach the end of our lives without influencing the surrounding environment, we will have regrets. Thinking, I was a useless person, I did nothing valuable, I should have done something valuable, my life is meaningless. That means that these regrets arose from the fact that we have a desire to make a positive impact on others and the natural environment. So when we approach the end of our life, for example, we may donate funds to schools for future generations or make contributions such as leaving behind money for those in need. These actions stem from the desire to contribute. Therefore, we have a longing to contribute to the natural and social environment, which ultimately involve human beings, but possesses the desire to contribute to these aspects. Hence, the person is composed of these four elements, each having its own demands. We must live a life that satisfies this demand. If we fail to live a life that fulfills, it will be the life filled with remorse. Therefore, having a life scenario that balances all three aspects is crucial for living a harmonious life. Envision yourself living in the house where you've been wanting to, yourself having others, yourself living with your kids, yourself driving a car that you wanted, yourself traveling specifically. Create a scenario for the life you want to live. Craft a life scenario that reflects your dream. I've bought some paper here. It's for you to write your life scenario.
요런 이제 양식을 하나 나눠 드릴 건데 이 양식이 어떻게
This paper is
되냐면
kind of a form of life
이렇게 돼
scenario.
있어요. 가운데 이렇게
It
동그라미가
has a
있어요.
big circle on the center,
이렇게 나눠져
and
있고
it's divided
여기에
into
이렇게
sections.
눈금들이 10개씩
You'll find
이렇게
10
있다는
marks
거예요.
for sections,
그런데
and there are
여기가
circles.
저렇게 동그라미들이 이렇게 있는데 여기에 있는
And the
항목이
items should be
여기에
here.
들어가야 되는 거예요. 그러면은
Living well means living a prosperous life.
풍요롭게 되는 거죠. 그러면은
It's for the necessity of life, so food and clothing, and then you got the part of the housing to live a prosperous life. You need a good house to live to. Then you could write a house here, and that there could be a car. Everyone has a car, so you could put a car. It could be the one you want to drive one day, and more importantly, you want to live healthy life, right? And you want to live long. Okay, it's done for this part, and let's move to the love part. It could be family love. It could be volunteering too.
이런 것들이 들어갈 수가 있고. 그런데
And you will find the
네모들이
squares,
이렇게 쳐져 있는 양식을
which
여러분들에게
are
드릴 건데,
for
자, 주택
you to be
문제가
specific for each category.
내가 살고 싶은 집이 있을 거예요, 아마. 어떤 사람은
You want a house, then how much size you want it to be, how many rooms you want it to have. You are a small family, so you don't want a big house, then write it. You all could have different desire.
생각이 날 거예요. 그러면은
Then you compare the house you want to live, then the house you are living in now, check it. You could write 30% if you are not very satisfied with the place you're living now. If you are living in a house with a half size of what you want to live, then write 30%. You want a big house and now you're living in a big house, then check here. Perfect score of 10. And it's about your current health, about health here. Are you currently providing financial support to your parents? But you are only able to give them 1 out of 10 of what you actually desire to give. And it's for volunteering. You haven't done, like for traveling, you haven't been traveling much. And for kids, for financial status, when you are done, connect them. Connect the dots. You will see the specifics straight. It is ugly, your life scenario is ugly. To draw the line, the scoring each category, and you can check your current status. I have seen someone who barely created a dot. It is not good. He said it's simple for him to draw. Okay, so to make a good shape like this, we need to score 10 out of 10. And it means your life would not look ugly anymore. Then to score 10, what do you need to do? For a house, big one?
50평. 건강.
For your health, you need to work out regularly. Take 2 sachets of hamohim. You need to write it down. Supporting your parents.
어떻게 한다고요? 한 달에
Give them
300만
enough
원씩
money to support.
매월 드리겠다. 또
Trouble
세계
with
여행을
them.
시켜드리겠다.